had someone say to me yesterday, I don't think you understand what I'm going through. And I feel like, I'm totally just speaking off the cuff right now, I feel like the human experience is pretty standard. Obviously, especially when first world experiences are concerned, obviously, some people experience trauma and tragedy and death and illness and setbacks and failures and all of these different things that happen in our lives at different variations. And I feel like to say to somebody that I don't think you understand what I'm going through, it's just a little bit generic. And I say that because we all go through stuff. We all are going through this human experience of feeling like down or whatever. And my point to this is, we get to decide how and what and who affects us in this life, okay? I learned from a coach that I've had in the past, and I still consult with her. Her name is Jennifer Jade, and actually she has a video series going on right now. Go over to her page and find it, and I'll post a link too that you can do it because it's a free series. It's a 3-part series, and she talks about the difference in her second video from joy to happiness, and I've actually quoted her before because happiness is, it's something like, I think she says in her video, happiness is me binging on chocolate and watching Netflix, but that's not joy. And she says that the purpose of life, and this is a quote from Abraham Hicks, is joy. The purpose of life is joy. And joy is a permanent thing. Joy is something that we create inside of ourselves, and it comes from how we deal with the things that we think that people don't understand. I am telling you right now, I am joyous. On the flip side of that, I'm going to tell you that I had a super shit day. I had a really terrible day. I woke up to my virtual assistant being MIA in the middle of my Moms on a Mission launch, with massive glitches in my back end systems, with total disorganization, and oh my goodness, how is this going to happen? How is this going to be? Like the last 2 months I've spent essentially would have been destroyed had I let my need and my desire to erupt and throw my hands up in the air and scream and yell like a little child happen. Had I let that happen, and had I gone, you don't know what I'm going through, and had I started blaming everybody around me for everything that's happening, and had I started attaching myself to all of this. And it probably could have got worse when my mom called me to tell me today, and I'm going to get really kind of, here with you right now, that, had a little call there, that she has cancer. And so it could have gone really south for me. But here's what I've learned. Here is what I have learned to do. Because I come from a place of gratitude and a place of confidence and a place of joy and a real understanding of how to stand still and acknowledge what is going on around me and acknowledge what is going on in my mind and not attach to it emotionally. I still feel it and I acknowledge it and I go, okay, hang on a minute, that's there. But I don't allow myself to do that thing that I used to do in my 20s and when I was a teenager, and that is allow my blood to boil and completely explode and erupt. I just don't do that anymore. I don't let my outside circumstances that are happening not to me, but for me in this life affect me in a way that it's going to stop me. So this morning, instead of throwing my hands up in the air, canceling my series, crawling into a ball, and dying, I started Googling, how do I do this? And I just put my virtual assistant cap on. And you know what? In 40 minutes, I had my problem solved. And it's amazing what we can accomplish when we stop being emotional, we take control of that child inside of us. We look them straight in the eye and we say, you're going to lead here, okay? You're not going to melt down. You're going to acknowledge what's happening. You're going to push through it and you're going to make it happen. Because the ladder doesn't do anything for you. So I did that. And then my problem was fixed. And so when my virtual assistant came back on today and said, I'm so sorry, I was in the hospital with my son and I was really sick, I could say, don't worry, I handled it. And I felt good about that. And then when my mom called to now snowball again into that, I could have just gone into a ball. But no, you know what I did? I coached her. I listened to her. I loved her. And we came up with a solution based on confidence. One where she feels like she's able to now take ownership and lead this C word right out of her body and march on with life. Instead of wallowing in a self-pity act, because life is happening all around us, you guys. It's happening everywhere. And what we choose to attach to, your sisters, cousins, mothers, brothers, something's going on, or your dog died, or you miscarried, or your mom has cancer, or your husband died. Let's go really hardcore, okay? These are all really crazy ass things that happen to us as human beings, and it's brutal. But guess what? When it gets really brutal is when we attach ourselves to it. And we wallow in it, and we stop pushing forward, because we are all that we have. Inside of this body, the connection to our soul, to our joy, is all we have. And that's the only responsibility that we have in this world, is to connect to it and make sure it stays intact. So anything that's going on in your life that you think is totally awful, that's causing drama, that is now your story, and you're going to go out and you're going to tell everybody, and every single time you tell that story, it's going to get worse, and it's going to get more believable and more traumatic. Just stop, okay? Just stop with the freaking story. And I tell you this because I changed my story about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, maybe even almost coming up on a year. I changed my story to, let's talk about the awesome things in life. And I think, actually, I'm going to quote the Bible right now, Philippians 4:8. Whatever is, to help me out here if you know Philippians 4:8, it's like, whatever is pure, whatever is worthy, whatever is, all of these amazing things. Think about these things. And I would go further and say, talk about those things. Stop with the stories. Because trust me, I have a story today. And you know what? I curled my hair. I put my lipstick on. And I am going to go and be my joyous self. And I'm going to go out. And I'm going to go to this event that I've been asked to join. And I'm going to speak. And I'm going to enjoy myself. And most importantly, I'm going to share my message. Because that's what God wants me to do. He wants me to share my joy, share my happiness, share my peace that I get to offer people like I'm offering you right now. So I love you. Moms on a Mission is still going to happen. My mom's going to beat this C word. And we're going on The Price is Right next week. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you've ever gone on The Price is Right, I need to know how to get on, because we've got the tickets, but it's not a sure thing that you get to go into the studio and be part. So my mom's been sending me all these links. She's like, you need to watch the show. You need to get up on things. You need to know the rules. I haven't watched it in years. So if you know a trick to getting on, let me know. I love you, and thank you for listening to this message, because I do know that, here's another thing. I'll just leave you with this. I just had this conversation with my older sister, Jen, about triggers. Sometimes I trigger people. I trigger them. They go, it hits them, and they can't absorb it. They go, oh my God, what is she saying? I don't like that girl, or I don't like what she said, or I don't like her tone. Or be mindful of those moments, because if I've triggered you in this video, I want you to ask yourself why. What is it about that what I'm saying is missing from your life? Because anytime we're triggered, it's something very personal inside of us that we're either lacking or that we wish we had, or that we, it's like a hidden little agenda to what we need in our lives. So maybe watch it again and find out exactly where in this video I triggered you, if you were triggered in this video. And I'll give you an example. My business coach used to trigger me when she used to say things like, oh, like, people trust me, and people, you know, people think I'm this, and, you know, people think I'm amazing because I can do this. And that triggered me. And even her voice sometimes triggered me. And I'm like, why is this bothering me? And I took a look at it, and it's because that's who I am, and I'm not accessing it. Right? So anyway, love you guys. Have a great night. Have a grateful night. And find your joy. It's in here. Find your message. Find your joy. Love you.